All right, the golden age of Strat-O-Matic baseball, 1977 to 1984. Now I want to introduce my 32 teams. And the way I did this is that I like to use the alignments that you also see in the National Football League, which consists of 32 teams with a wild card playoff system involved. And I like to use the same math involved, where I have 8 divisions and 4 teams in each of the 8 divisions. So we have the American League East, the American League North, the American League Central, and the American League West. And then we also have the National League East, the National League North, a new division where there's expansion. It's called the National League Mountain Time Zone, and the National League West. And now I'll begin in announcing these teams that are in my leagues. First, the American League East consists of the Baltimore Orioles, and this is their that's their 20 card set for this is the 1980 season I have right now. The Boston Red Sox, the New York Yankees, and the Toronto Blue Jays. That's pretty consistent with what is now, with the exception in current baseball there is no Tampa Bay Rays. Let's go to the next division, the American League North. We start with 2 very familiar teams, the Cleveland Indians, the Detroit Tigers. And I have 2 expansion teams. The first is the relocated. The Expos are been relocated to the American League and been moved to Burlington, Vermont, across the Canadian border into Lake Champlain. I just decided to relocate them to an American League town. I even changed the color of their logo to reflect green for the Green Mountains. So the Expo team, instead of moving to Washington, the Expo team moved to the American League and plays in the city of Burlington and are in the American League North. And the 4th team in the American League North is another team in Ohio. And I call this team that plays in Columbus, Ohio, the Ohio Players, which is pays homage to one of my favorite funk bands of the 1970s. So you're familiar with Cleveland and Detroit, but 2 of the 6 expansion teams I added were Burlington Expos and the Ohio Players. Let's keep moving to the American League Central. Small market teams, except for Chicago, of course, the Chicago White Sox, the Kansas City Royals, the Milwaukee Brewers, moving back to the American League where they belong, and the Minnesota Twins, back when they played outdoor baseball. And that's your American League Central. And last, the American League West, and this should be pretty familiar. Nothing's changed much here. You've got your California Angels, the Oakland Athletics, the Seattle Mariners, and the Texas Rangers. And that's your American League, that's the American League West. Now let's go to the National League. The National League. National League East is kind of like it is now. Atlanta Braves. And I did a retro expansion because I put the Florida Marlins, who of course did not form until the 1990s. So I retroactively made them go back to the 1970s, the Florida Marlins, the New York Mets, and the Philadelphia Phillies. And that's your National League East. And there is no Washington franchise. There's no Tampa Bay Rays. There's no Washington Nationals. The next division is the National League North, where we have bitter rivals. We got the Chicago Cubs and their bitter rival, the St. Louis Cardinals, and river rivals from that period, the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates. And those are the teams representing the National League North. This is what their logos look like. And you put the teams together. The next division is the National League Mountain. Now, we're going to see some expansion. All 4 teams are expansion teams. 2 you're familiar with and 2 you're not. We're going to start with the Arizona Diamondbacks, retroactively moving them back. Colorado Rockies, same situation, before the Humidor. And now 2 expansion teams in the Mountain Time Zone area, or the Pacific Northwest. I put 1 team in Las Vegas. So we have Las Vegas, I call them the Rivieras, named after a casino. And I put a team in Portland, Oregon, where I live. And I call them the Portland Rosebuds. Portland's the city of roses. So these are the new teams added retroactively. And you see it's Arizona, Colorado, Las Vegas, and Portland make up the National League Mountain. And last, and these should be familiar, if you recall going back to the late 70s, early 80s, the Houston Astros and the Los Angeles Dodgers had a tremendous rivalry. This is when Houston had Nolan Ryan and Jose Cruz, and the Dodgers had Don Sutton and Dusty Baker, and they had a great rivalry. And so Houston moves back to the National League West to join the Dodgers and the remaining 2 teams from California, your San Diego Padres and your San Francisco Giants. And that concludes identifying the 32 teams in my golden age of Strat-O-Matic baseball. We'll look through one of those teams shortly. Thank you.